Hi. It's been 9 months since I gave an update on my Lyme disease. And I know there's not billions of people that want to know, but there are some that want to know um, how the Cowden protocol has been working for me and where I am now. So if you want to know more information about the beginning, I have another video, a couple other videos as well. But the basic is I was diagnosed in October 2019, and I got symptoms a couple years before that, just gradually. But by February 2019, I was pretty sick, debilitating. Um, and now it's February 2022, and it's kind of significant for me because um, I was diagnosed when I was 37, and I remember telling my doctor that my goal was to be in remission by the age of 40. And my birthday is in a couple weeks. And just kind of thinking about where I'm at with Lyme disease. My first year I took Biocidin. Um, and I kind of feel like Cowden's following that same pattern, that by about 9 months into it, along with changing my diet, no gluten, dairy, sugar, and soy, and now I don't eat eggs too. Um, there are other things to eat besides that. People's first question is, "What do you eat?" I eat other grains, and I eat meat, and I eat um, fruits and vegetables and nuts, and this is my morning smoothie. And my kids call it sludge, but it's berries and spinach and um, collagen in my supplements and flax and chia, and it's all the goodness in one bottle, and some banana in there. Where was I at? Um, so about 9 months into Biocidin, I felt like I started making some progress, and then by a year, I felt like I plateaued of some sort, and so um, I got I went from being in bed about 12 hours a day to 6 hours the next year to about 3 hours. Um, it just couldn't function when I first got sick. So it got me to a good place. About 65 to 70% is what I feel. And so then I decided to switch up a little bit, and I started the Cowden protocol. And this is very similar to the Biocidin. So basically, for the last 3 years, I've been on some form of these herbal treatments. This little bucket is my day. Um, 4 times a day, I put these in water, different ones, different schedule, along with all the vitamins that I need as well. Because if I don't take B12 and vitamin D and omega, things like that, I could definitely feel it. So I have been on the Cowden protocol for nearly 18 months. And around 6 months, I felt like the same I did with Biocidin, like I'm not seeing enough progress, but I'm going to keep it going because it's patience and healing. And around about 9 months, um, about the summertime, this past summer, I felt like I reached maybe 85%. I really felt like I was heading to remission. By the time I was 40, I I was gonna be there, reach my goals. In fact, I one of my goals was to go hike Moab with my family. And back when I got sick, this was impossible. I mean, we were pushing me in a wheelchair just to go to the zoo, you know. And so that seemed kind of far out of reach, but um, there I was, and we hiked for 5 hours and went paddleboarding the next day, and I was feeling so good that I was like, I'm ready. My baby's going to school. I have 6 kids, and my youngest was going to first grade. And so I remember talking to the principal that year when school ended, and like, I'm practically begging myself for this job, just to work in the school 17 hours a week. And I mentioned, I have Lyme disease, but 99% sure it's not going to be a problem. And so I was feeling pretty confident. Um, and and so late August of 2021, I started working, and I felt so great being with people and working with the kids in this great program. I got to see my kids at school every day, and um, really enjoying it. And the first week, I was like, it's a little hard on my body, but I'll adjust. I'll adjust. It's something new. And the second week and the third week, and um, just tired and in pain all the time. Um, Everything was just kind of coming back. I saw myself relapsing. Um, and it was really hard because I wanted to be there. They needed me there. I didn't want to stress out this program that they were doing. But I also knew that I needed to take care of my body, and I'd worked too hard to get here. So I went and talked to the principal, and everyone's been so fantastic. Um, but I took a break after Thanksgiving break and didn't work December, just trying to rest. But if you have 6 kids in the holidays, you know that um, resting is not a thing. And I didn't really feel like I was making any progress. I feel like I even relapsed like about 20% from starting that job in just a couple short months. And so I've been able to go back to work about 6 hours a week, and it sounds really lame, but that 6 hours is really hard for me. I haven't quite got back to where I was from the summertime. Um, I'm taking the Cowden to 18 months just because I have an appointment with Dr. Calzada in Tijuana. Many Limeys know who that is. He seems to create miracles over there, and I feel like the Cowden may be maintaining where I'm at, but I just feel like I'm stalling again. Like I haven't really made any progress for a while, and that's frustrating. I feel like I'm back to the 65 to 70% um, healing, and I want to be 100%. Um, Maybe that's not realistic, but 70% is just not good enough. And um, so, in a nutshell, how I'm doing right now, I am so grateful that I have to say I'm not going to sit and complain about where I'm at, because I've come super far from when I got sick. Now I'd be able to, getting in the shower was like basically what I accomplished each day, you know? Um, but like when I wake up, I feel like I'm 80 years old, and my muscles are all sore. My left side is typically really weak and numb. If I just don't move and lay down, my my hand will go numb within like a few minutes. And just the muscle pain, kind of like you worked out, you know, and you're feeling it the next day. And on a bad night, I'd probably already woken up a few times because I was freezing, because I have night sweats where I'm freezing, but I'm wet from sweat, and I literally have to change my clothes in the middle of the night. And migraines are the bad days a couple times a week, but I used to have them more. Um, but a lot of things have came back. Um, and so I do what I need to do, and I get my kids to school, and I feel like I'm on this timer every day. I have exactly these many hours before I have to be down again. Um, Sometimes when I work like 2 days a week, and if I work like 2 to 3 hours during that day, I know that I have to hurry and get home, and I have to get lunch and then go straight to lay down. Because if I don't, it's like my body's, it's like nerve pain, muscle pain, joint pain, and so it's like everything's vibrating, and the muscles are just tensing up, and I just have to lay and do nothing so I can help ease that. And I can feel as I'm doing things, whether it's in the house, trying to tidy up the house, get dinner done, if there's any errands that need to be run, I can just feel like this. Or if I'm working, just kind of like starts going up to my shoulders, to my neck, to my head. Like they're already always hurting, but the degree of pain starts increasing the longer that I'm up. And the baby migraine, the little headache turns into a big migraine, and it's always this, fight to race the clock here, and what can I get done before I have to do it? And um, can I push through it? Yes, and I've pushed through it because there's days that, especially with a lot of kids and holidays and things like that, where there is no downtime. And what happens, last week was a good example. I worked more than I should have. I should have said no. It was a birthday, it was a busy time, and I pushed through it. And what happens is I can just feel this weakness in all my muscles and the pain in my muscles. And when I push through it, I get injured. And I hurt my back like maybe 5 years ago. And that is the exact spot always comes back and gets me. And in the last 4 or 5 months, I've been in a back brace 3 times for doing the stupidest things. The first time I was taking off my shirt in the morning and my back, and I started spasming where I can't move, or the pain is just so intense it just brings you to your knees, and it takes me a few days in back brace, and the massage chair and the heat, and so, and then the next time I brushed my hair. I woke up, literally brushed my hair, and I spasmed again. And this last week was the most pathetic because I literally was in my bed sleeping, about 5 a.m. I did kind of like stretched, and all of a sudden my back went, and I spasmed. And I had to have my husband help me get onto the heating mat and get my brace up. And the next few days, trying to work through that with regular Lyme disease and back spasms. So I have to be careful to not weaken my body too much where it is prone to injury. Like my knee will start like getting pulled out, or like my ankles, and then I have a hard time where I'm kind of like limping a little. Like if I'm not careful, like my body gives out on me. And so I have to find this balance of how far I can push. And the most frustrating thing in the world is to have so many things that you need to do, and you just lay there in bed with doing nothing. Like literally, I can't text, I can't watch anything, because by the time I've pushed myself a few hours that day, it affects my thought process as well. Like things get cloudy, and just the pain, and like even simple things of moving around or focusing on something, it doesn't allow my body to fully relax. And if you see me running an errand, or you see me at church or at a social event or something like that, and it seems like nothing's wrong, the lady that has the handicap pass, but she pops out of her car just fine, what you don't see is that preparing for that event, I was in bed for an hour or so. And when I got home from that event, I had to lay down for 2 hours just so I could be there for that time. Church doesn't sound like an Olympic event, but for me, it is really hard. For the second hour, I used to just go and lay in my car, or I'd go home to lay in my bed. And it's not that I'm tired, like I want to fall asleep. It's my body literally can't hold itself up that long. The muscles. If you see me in church, I tend to, if I have to sit too long, I sway back and forth. And I realized I did that during labor as well. It helps me cope with pain to kind of sway a little and move a little. Sitting still in particular is really difficult for me. If I'm moving around, later on I'll pay for it because I've used so many muscles. But just sitting there is really hard to focus and be distracted on um, the muscle pain and the nerves and the joints and this whole the body consuming thing that's going on while I'm sitting there. And so when I get home, I'm usually in bed for about 3 hours after church. And so we have to plan accordingly for anything that's going to be later that day. So it's frustrating, and you kind of feel like, those days where you wake up and you feel like crap. We've all had days like that, whether you feel like you have the flu or your muscles are just aching and you're just feeling off that day. And all those who've had COVID, recently, like you just feel like crap, and after like that first week or so where you're like, you can't do anything, you feel like you're always tired, you're always feeling like garbage, and you can't wait to feel great again so you can get back to taking care of your household things, to being out again, doing your regular things that you were doing before you got sick. And then picture that every single day for 3 years, and there's no end in sight, and just pushing through each